come November, I'm going to be running for Clyde City Council. Thank you. Wow. That's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for coming out. So I remember my dad is passed now, but I remember when he was still alive, he once told me that he thought I would make a great politician. And my response to him was, what in the world did I ever do to you to deserve that comment? So I don't know. I never thought of myself as a politician. And truly, I don't know if Clyde City Council can be really considered a politician per se, but I'm a big firm believer that if you want change, you need to be part of the change. You need to be part of the solution. And so I've served public service since I was 19. I joined the Navy at 19, served 8 years, got out of that, and then started my career in EMS. Starting off as a EMT, then I worked my way up to being a paramedic. And I did that for 3 years in Bellevue, and I switched over to Sandusky County EMS in Fremont, and I did 27 years there. I just retired last year, right in the middle of a pandemic. That was a great time. You know, I was when I retired, I was really mixed emotions. One half of me was like, oh yeah, right, you know, right in the middle of a pandemic doesn't seem like a bad time to leave. But I also felt a tinge of guilt because I was leaving my brothers and sisters while they were really struggling. So mixed emotions there. But I retired last year, and since then I've been kind of just working odd jobs, mowing grass, trying to keep myself busy, and also I got a company, security and training company that I'm trying to foster. But now I want to serve. I'm currently on the Civil Service Commission, which is a volunteer position. I also volunteer at my church as the safety team coordinator. But I wanted to do some more. I knew that when I retired, I wasn't going to quit serving. I just wanted to serve other aspects. And I thought the city council might be a good place for me to try. I do have some general ideas of what I like to see happen in the future of Clyde. Clyde's not broke. There's nothing wrong with Clyde, but like anything else, you can always improve on things. And there's some things I'd like to see happen. I'll address some of them to you, and then what I hope to get information from you guys, what you want to see, what concerns that you have, and where you see the future of Clyde going. So I guess I wrote some notes here just because I'm old and I forget things. So I like to think that I have like a vision for what Clyde could be and what I see Clyde being. Clyde's been very good to me. We were discussing just before this started that some people have stated that I'm going to have a rough time with this campaign because I'm not originally from Clyde, and I'm not. I started working for Clyde Police Department in 1995, and then in 2015, Jeanette and I got married, and I moved to Clyde then. So I've been around for a few years, but Clyde's been very good to me. The Clyde Police Department, the city of Clyde, was very good to me when I was a police officer, and I also was stationed at Light Squad 15 here in Clyde for a few years, and the city's always been very good to EMS. So those are the kind of things I just want to continue. But one of the things I really think that we could really work on and improve here is our community support. We have such a tight-knit community, but we need to foster that. As a city, we need to try to encourage people to do more. One example, and there's many examples, but one example I'll have is, you know, people mowing their yards and stuff like that. We have several people in the city here that have a hard time mowing their grass, and there's many different reasons why people don't mow their yards. And maybe it's elderly couple that just don't have the ability to. Maybe it's someone who's disabled, doesn't have the capability to. The mental health issues are predominant also nowadays, especially with the COVID thing. So there's many different reasons, and I think there's got to be ramifications for not abiding by certain ordinances and stuff like that. I'm not suggesting we do away with the penalties or the punitive sections of that, but we can also mix that with community support. And meaning, like, if you have a next door neighbor who, for whatever reason, has a hard time mowing their grass, if you've got an extra 45 minutes, you know, nothing says you can't mow that for them. I know many of you guys know Mary Robinson. I've had the pleasure of getting to know her. She takes it upon herself. It's a service that she provides, like a community service, that she goes around the city of Clyde and she finds yards that need to be mowed. She doesn't ask why they don't mow it. She just gets permission to mow it, and then she takes it upon herself. She uses her own lawnmower, her own gas, and she mows it. She does. The guy that lives next to me. Every once in a while, I'll help her out and mow. I know many other people mow their neighbor's yard. I know Ken Winky. He's the enforcement code officer. He's occasionally helped his neighbor out by mowing. So this is the community support that I would like to really foster, and not just mowing, but anything. If you know your neighbor's not been around for a while, then take some time to figure out what's going on. If they need a meal, then maybe supply them a meal or something like that. But I really think that we really could improve on being good neighbors to each other. Another thing is I really like to see about creating a walkable city. Now understand that I'm just one of 5 positions here on the council, so I can have all sorts of ideas what I want to do. I'm still going to work with council and city leadership to make it happen. But if you haven't heard what a walkable city is, but basically it's creating your city to be easily transited on foot, to walk around. And that includes, but not limited to, that includes like making sure the sidewalks are really wide and good quality so people can walk. In this particular case, maybe we have them come downtown and stuff like that. Look at the shops, eat some at the restaurants and stuff like that. And also certain aspects of parking to make it more conducive to people. It'd be really cool if we can make Clyde like a destination, tourist destination. Right now, throughout the country, that seems to be a really hot topic, where you find little quaint towns and people actually will travel to those areas just to see it. We have rich history here. We have a rich Civil War history. I just found out a couple months ago that we have a mob history. We have a history of the mob, which I find to be fascinating. So these are all history that we already have. We just need to kind of put it out there and invite people to see that, and have people come visit Clyde, because it is, and we can just make it more inviting. So that's what a walkable city is. I encourage you guys to Google that. You find a bunch of information there. They're beautiful. They're beautiful towns. Some of the towns here around, like I know Tiffin's adopted some of those aspects. Fremont's adopted some of them. Fort Clinton's done something like that, and it's beautiful. Another thing I like is we have a really great recreational park, and I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, some of you guys probably remember too, I remember them having all-night softball tournaments at the community park, and they were up all night playing baseball. I can't remember if it was baseball or softball, but they were doing the tournaments there. And I was a police officer at the time, but I just remember watching everybody have so much fun doing that, and it brought a bunch of people from outside Clyde to visit Clyde, and there was no problems. I was on the police department. I was working those nights, and there was never any problems with any of that stuff. And that'd just be kind of cool to bring back more programs for the recreational department that we have. Another thing I understand that used to go on is they used to show movies at the pool, but apparently we don't do that anymore. And I don't know when that stopped. But yeah, but that'd be kind of cool for the kids to do. We have a really great skate park, and I don't know all the details, ins and outs. My days of skateboarding is long over, but it'd be kind of cool. I heard that we used to have like tournaments or competitions at the skate park, bring kids from outside to do that kind of stuff. Why can't we continue doing that? Why if we have this stuff, why not use it and highlight what the city has to offer? So that's what I like to do more with the recreation center. And then of course arts and entertainment. We have so many talented people in Clyde here. We have artists and we have musicians, and how cool would that be to have somebody set up here in this plaza and just strumming their guitar or whatever they do, or have somebody set up a easel and just paint. Nothing cheesy, not like you see at Cedar Point, but like real, because I know like that Mary Robinson. I found out just talking to her and talking to other people that she's responsible for a lot of murals that's here in town. She's supposedly she's a fantastic artist. That's the kind of stuff that would be really neat to hear, and it would attract citizens, you know, Clyde residents, to come and check out. And of course, when they're here, then they're going to check out the stores, the storefronts, the boutiques. They're going to go in and get a sandwich or a drink or something like that. I think that would be really good for the city. Obviously, I'm biased when it comes to safety service, like the police, fire, EMS. Obviously, that's my background. But considering what's going on around the country, I really think we should really give the safety service departments our full support. But that includes training too, because I do believe that especially the police department, EMS and fire, they do need to be held at a higher accountability. I know it's not so much a problem here in Clyde yet, but around the country, you know, police departments have been defunded or had their funding stripped away and stuff like that. I personally like to fund our police department more, but make sure that it's used effectively and with good intention, like good training and stuff like that. Just about any police officer in the state of Ohio can know how to shoot, but not many police officers have that training and experience on how to handle de-escalation situation or you know, actually go hands-on with somebody. I know I did when I was on the police department. I didn't have any of that, and now of course I've got 5 years of martial arts training, and without going into too much detail with that, martial arts training, jiu-jitsu training really affords you the ability to control a subject without hurting them or hurting you. Police departments that have adopted jiu-jitsu training have lowered their injury rates like 46% or something like that, and the lawsuits have been decreased as well, because you don't have to resort to the gun if you have other things going on. So that's just one example of the training and the services I would like to give to our public service. And then term limits. So I'm a big fan of term limits. Doesn't matter whether it's City of Clyde, State of Ohio, or you know, the presidency. If I'm privileged enough to be elected, I guarantee you, I'm not going to serve much more than 2 to 3 terms, which is about 8 to 12 years. Because by then I'm going to be in my late 60s, and I think there'll be other people that can step in with more fresher ideas. Because that's why I want to get on city council, because I feel I have fresher ideas. I want to pose a question for you guys. What's too long to be on city council? You know, 20 years? 25 years? That's a long time to be serving on a small little, you know, and complacency has a tendency to take a hold. So I want to do away with that. I want to get some fresh blood in the city council